Welcome to Imagine AI Live at the Fontainebleau in Las Vegas. I've got a very special guest with us, Alex Northstar. Alex, how are you doing?
Buongiorno, I'm happy to be here again, and yeah, man, I'm full of energy, surrounded by great AI minds. This is the place to be, I think.
It certainly is, and we did something different this year. We had workshops to kick off our conference yesterday, and you did two different sessions. I went into one of them, and the room was filled. And I also heard some really great feedback in the elevators, too. I didn't even ask anything. I was like, oh, I really liked Alex Northstars. So tell me how that went and how you approach your workshops.
So first of all, you guys did put me to work, not gonna lie. Yesterday, like 2 workshops, 2 hours each, that was a good amount. But I mean, it's simple. I just try to remove all the fluff and hype. Because I know that the people who come here, they want to know how to put AI to work, right? They heard the news, they're listening to the hype, but then they reach the point like, how do I do this? What do I do with it? Mm-hmm. And because I tested all these tools in the last 2 years and did thousands of prompts and stuff like that, I have a selection of super simple stuff to apply that if you would use it, you would win back every day around 2 hours, which is great. I mean, 2 hours you can spend with the family, you can get ahead in the business, you can do a lot of cool stuff at that time. So I just teach them what worked for me, for my clients, the teams I worked with, and they're usually happy about that because they feel like, hey, if I use this, this is gonna actually get me ahead. And it takes me 5 minutes to implement it. So I just keep it simple but actionable. That is the secret to me.
When you're working with a client, what are the questions you ask them in order for you to help them?
I usually ask them, how knowledgeable are you about AI news? And they tell me oh, I follow this all the time. Okay, forget about it. What you need to figure out is we sit down together and what are your repetitive tasks that you do every day? Because that's the stuff where you need to start thinking, how can I AI it, you know? Because once you understand, I always take meeting minutes and stuff like that, and it takes away my time, or I need to do project management. It's okay, is there a way to automate this? And we'll figure out some custom solutions or some easy to use tools or even prompts that get them results, and then they actually feel the empowerment from the AI because they're applying it to their specific life situation, and now they are living the AI promise, not just following the news that they don't know what to do with it. So it's as simple as that. We go from a task audit, then implementation, and then my job is just to hold their hand a bit more. Because I mean, at the end of the day, you need to remember that we're working with humans, not with tech. So if they don't feel motivated, if they don't feel supported, they're not gonna do nothing with it. And my job is just to be a good teacher and help them get the results with it. Yeah.
What do you find are the automations you're doing most for people?
Yeah. So there's content automations, because there's a lot of busy founders who would love to put their product out there because they have great stuff, but they are terrible with social media and they feel shy. So that's why I have a few automations basically for LinkedIn ghostwriting, Twitter thread ghostwriting, a lot of this stuff that helps them. Sounds authentic because it takes their original ideas. It's not just ChatGPT copy paste. I have invoice management, for example, because a lot of businesses waste way too much time with invoicing and doing all that stuff manually. I have also some voice agents, which is interesting, basically with inbound leads for sales and stuff like that, because I mean, at the end of the day, I always want companies to use AI to save money and make more money. That's what the business owners ask me. And I try to figure out that kind of stuff, like marketing, sales, and project delivery mostly. Yeah.
Cool. So from that, the social media side of you helping the business owners, you said it was mostly X and LinkedIn automations? Yeah. Okay, cool.
Also Instagram, I will be testing a few solutions next week for somebody, so that's going to be exciting. But I try to keep it as authentic as possible. To me, that's the key, because yeah, you can do it faster with AI, but if it's AI slop, copy paste, you're just destroying your brand, so you should not do that. This is why I try to figure out this 10-80-10 solution, where there's 10% AI, human input, smart AI human input, AI does the heavy lifting, and then you double check it, the last remaining part, to make sure that it looks fine and it's useful content for people, because that's what gets you ahead in business. If people enjoy your content, then it's useful for them.
Have you worked with helping teams integrate AI and streamline their processes?
Yeah, dozens of teams at this point. I've been doing this for 2 years. I worked also with Fortune 500. I'm under an NDA, so I cannot mention their exact names, but one of them does cars.
All right.
In a cold country, so there might be some indications there. But yeah, I do work with teams. Basically, I do B2B workshops and stuff like that. And also here, similar principles apply, where we need to figure out what are their repetitive tasks every day, give them a mix of solutions that allow them to work easier and faster, and then measure the productivity increase, which in my case, it's usually a 20%. Now, numbers, when you say, what does that even mean? Well, the thing is, if you put it into perspective, 20% productivity increase, it's almost 2 months of time per year back, which for companies is huge. Like the return on investment is very significant if you have a team that's bigger than 20 people.
How are teams using AI to work better amongst themselves?
So first of all, getting them from 0 to 1, which might surprise you because again, here we're in a circle of like super advanced people, so they all talk about agents and automations, and you get out of this hotel and out of Twitter and they're like, oh yeah, that ChatGPT thing, I heard, like I use it a few times, like, oh, so you don't know Make.com, N8N, you don't do AI agents, So the first step is not getting them from 1 to 10, it's just getting them from 0 to 1 to start using these tools in their daily work, to see the benefits. I mean, simple, just use Perplexity, right? Notebook LM, like as a database. A few, like for example, brainstorming tips to use ChatGPT better, smarter. Set up a couple of GPTs. This is not rocket science, but few people are doing it because they haven't received the training or the guidance to do it. They're not AI nerds like us that go and check that every day. So this is one of the things. And then the second thing I really try to emphasize is AI collaboration between them. Because what happens to me in my experience, I have like teams, 20, 30 people, and there's always those 2, 3 AI geniuses, but they're not actually sharing their whole knowledge with the team, or they're not properly collaborating. So this is why I try to set up collaboration, AI workplaces, where they share resources. We put together some AI champions. They have office hours with me. So it's just much more easier to implement this stuff and also feel empowered by it, It's not your boss telling you like, hey, you should use ChatGPT. It's just this guy with the big nose from Italy telling you like, hey, how can I make your work less stressful,
So I appreciate your self-deprecating humor there. Big nose guy, Italian.
With a golden tie, yeah.
With a golden tie, who hates pineapples on pizza. Did I trigger something there? Sorry.
Chris, we talked about it. We talked about this. I'm not saying it's wrong to put pineapple on pizza, but don't do it if you come to Italy. You should not do it if you don't want to get in trouble. I'm just saying.
All right, very, very duly noted.
It's an advice.
Yeah. So tell me about a day in the life of Alex Northstar. You seem to be traveling or working from around the world and hitting up a lot of different events. And tell me how your day-to-day life.
So priority number 1 is espresso. I'm going to be honest with you, that must be part of my diet when I wake up, a decent espresso. Then I do need to figure out priorities in delivering client work. So again, one of the most important things, especially if you work in AI, is prioritizing. There's a lot of stuff out there that you could be doing, exploring all these tools and the news. No. The purpose is to deliver good work to people, right? The people are interested in applying these technologies, I need to focus them. So my clients, the teams I work with, the opportunities to educate people. You hear me talking here, doing workshops. I did workshops for Fortune 500, but I've also been in schools in Italy, for example, teaching 15-year-old kids how to use it to be better at school, and learn new stuff that they might need for technological advancement. Because Italy, it's a bit backwards with technology, So there's a lot of opportunities there to help people. And this is like in the morning when I wake up with my espresso, I talk with ChatGPT on my headphones while I go on a walk on the beach and ask it, what are 2 people or groups I should prioritize today? Based on that, I either try to give them more content, for example, with practical workflows, so make a little guide on Twitter or LinkedIn or maybe YouTube. Figure out for myself what I need to reach the next level, right? So learn more about automations, agents, so I can deliver better work for my clients who want this stuff. But also trying at the end of the day to make it simple. Because for me, that is one of my main points. As long as technology is complex, people don't like it. They're afraid by it. But if you can simplify it and show them how much better and easier the life can be, that is the game changer. I mean, to be honest with you, we could still send even today pigeons for communication, right? But probably you don't because you use email because you're smarter. So this is how my day looks like. Espresso, priorities, putting together education and useful guides, and delivering automation work and teaching for clients. I do that up until 3 p.m. and then I toggle on my AI agent dogs. I mean, like my assistants basically that go out there and do a lot of interesting stuff.
Wait a minute. Okay, so your AI dogs that go.
Nah, I'm just joking, because a lot of people it's a controversial thing because people never know should I treat them as humans, and say please and thank you? Are they like my servants? No. Normally I treat them as assistants. Yeah. They are my helpers. But also sometimes they help me with the more boring stuff, the more monotonous stuff.
So you've
created AI, unleash them out there.
You've created AI agents for yourself to streamline things.
Yeah.
Can you give us an example of one that you're most proud of?
Yeah. So one of them is basically checking the best people in my industry and telling them what I can learn from them and how can I be useful to them. So basically it's like a scraper there that I use, right? So I go and I put the brilliant minds I have there and I just tell them, how can I, for example, help, like what can I learn, for example, there's this like Professor Ethan Malik who's great. There's also some people that I follow on Twitter and they are a source of inspiration for me, you know. So I always want to be in the loop of their best content, the newest stuff, so I can learn more. And also in my mind, I think if I would one day work with them, how could I be useful to them? So I have this agent always telling me, he's like, hey, this professor did this. You could help his work by doing research and this and something like that. You know, it's not like I apply it all the time. It's a little bit of a little helper that I built for myself. But it feels nice, you know, to have this kind of assistant that gives me guidance on, I don't know, more like creative work, I would say. Because sometimes it's also repetitive, like these automations, I'm not gonna lie, sometimes they're hard. You get stuck, it's innovative stuff, nobody does it, so you have to think outside the box and you get stuck. And it's there's this meme, for example, that I post sometimes, there's like, why do something by hand in 6 minutes when you can waste 6 hours failing to automate it? And I reach that iceberg sometimes, but I love my work, so this is why I keep pushing. And then the end result, though, it's amazing. When you push the button and you see those modules running and they all work as they're intended, it's like, it's incredible. Because you know I would have spent 3 hours to do that, and now it was done in like 2 minutes. I'm like,
Yeah, so you're basically getting like a personalized newsletter of these people that you're really impressed by, you want to keep up to date with,
Yeah.
and then some ideas of like how you could help them to get their attention if you were to pursue that.
yeah, because I mean, to be honest with you, like this is the beauty of it, right? So like, yes, I would say I'm into tech, but at the end of the day, you're in the people's work. If you do AI education, right, you additionally just want to have conversations with people and get them to open their mind to new ideas, try out new stuff. I mean, funny enough, like I could be just also like an English teacher in school, you know, and I would still enjoy this kind of work. It's AI just a bit like different, but it's enjoyable.
Everyone's talking about it. It seems like the best tool out there right now. It's super easy user interface, or the best one, I think. And talk about the cost of running these automations, and maybe more generally about just subscription costs in general, because I feel like that's the world we live in now, where there's subscription costs list long, and you have to get used to that.
I'm the wrong man to ask this because I spend way too much money on AI tools. Like my AI bill is insane. But I tell people how they could save money. So like I tell them, for example, use N8N or Make.com, get the $18 plan, you know, it can cover a lot of your needs. AI tools also, like AI APIs, also got much cheaper. If you're not a crazy man using O3 or like the latest one like Claude 4 that costs like way too much, it's much more accessible now. And again, I just tell them, focus on your use tasks, find those 3 to 5 tools that help you make your day easier, and just pay those. And $100 is going to cover it, and the leverage you're going to get from that, it's usually worth up to like $4,000. Because normally, otherwise, you would delegate this to freelancers, to somebody else, or you'd waste a lot of your time doing it. So, you know, at the end of the day, time is money if you consider it that way.
Yeah.
I would say they're really cost effective, most of these AI solutions nowadays. Just don't be like me, don't buy all of them.
Yeah.
Just a few of them.
What area of AI are you most excited about in the near term here?
I mean, agents for sure, it's hot. AI art also is getting like a huge boost nowadays with VO3, and like these videos are looking actually super realistic. At the end of the day, I'm like an AI automation productivity guy, but I always have this dream of living in this world where if you can think it, you can do it. So I guess like I have an intrigue for like AI art to see like in 1 year, are we going to be able to say like, hey, I want a movie where I have wings and I can fly. Could you make that for me? Where I'm flying around the skies in Italy and Rome with my tiramisu. Could you make that? And if I can see that, I don't know, something in my heart, you know, is going to be like, I love this. I feel empowered. Of course, my agents in the meantime are going to be doing the work, helping my people, helping me do better, smarter, more leveraged work. Because again, you see, there's a lot of people I meet who have the passion, but they don't have the means. I didn't have the means to do it if we were talking about 2 years ago. All this whole AI stuff allowed me to empower myself so I can also help other people. This is the beauty of it in my mind. If you have a passion for something, AI will allow you to spread that passion faster and better, even if you have like a super small budget, and that's amazing. This is the kind of world that we want to be in, creative, capable, dynamic.
Yeah, definitely. Let's talk briefly about your growth over the last year as a creator yourself. I think how many followers on X have you gained in the last year, would you say?
As a creator, I got worse. But as a business owner, I got better because I refocused. So what happened is I used to post every day on Twitter. I still do. I'm at now like 14,000 followers, a good number. But again, I kind of pivoted a bit because I was like, well, it's great to be able to create content that can reach everybody in the world. But I did find a bit more joy in actually going to those classrooms and teaching people. I had like more direct contact with people. So I kind of spent a bit more time doing like workshops for companies, teaching in schools and universities. So the real question I think would be like from a human point of view, I grew a lot more in the last year based on all these experiences, traveling around the world, ending up in Thailand eating bugs, for example. Like that was something, thanks ChatGPT for enabling me to do that.
Yeah.
But no, aside the jokes, it was more of a human growth. Also, like on social media, yes, it grew up. I also got like on LinkedIn, I think I got like top AI voice or something like that.
Nice.
But that didn't make a lot of impact. The biggest impact I got is when I was teaching those kids in high school like 3 weeks ago, and I thought I'm going to bore them to death. I felt so stressful about it. So I did like workshops with Fortune 500
wow.
companies, and I was like a bit, nervous, but not that much. That thing in high school, I was like, I feel terrified because they're going to say this is terrible, this is boring, but they liked it because I went there and was like, hey, I want to help you live a better life. When I was back in my days as a kid, I didn't have a lot of means, so I read books, these English books on business and marketing and productivity. And for them, they could use AI to get ahead and actually spend more time with their hobbies, building maybe something with entrepreneurship. So yeah, for me, actually, the biggest challenge was, what made me feel most alive wasn't the social media growth, was connecting with real people in the classroom, and also delivering automation projects for clients and seeing it actually work for people. That for me is the best part.
Definitely. Well, Alex, thank you so much for being here again. You've been a very vibrant part of the Madden and Alex Live community. We're super happy to have you. Any parting words you'd like to say to the viewers?
Yeah, so I would just invite the viewers, if they could, to come here next year because this thing is phenomenal. I took the gang yesterday for some gelato too, so like we find a lot of friends here. And some parting words also, like I would say, I think this is the best event to find the most genuine people, because I find a lot of people out there that I saw on social media as creators, but people actually have a passion for this. This is not those typical corpo event, that's all about business or networking. This is also like the human connection to it, which is amazing, and especially in AI times. So I would just invite everybody to come here and have some espresso together.
Thanks so much, Alex, and see you next time.
That's one small step for man.